TRAID are a textile recycling charity. It stands for Textile Recycling for Aid and International Development, and they basically have like 10 shops, I think, at the moment, way over 1,000 clothes banks. They've got a big factory in Wembley where they sort everything, and then they issue it out to all the stores. They pay all their staff, so it's a functioning business in a way, which also I quite like because it provides livelihoods for people, not just sort of volunteers. And then they've upped the game really in terms of sorting and circulating, rotating stock, and running it like a little bit more of a sort of trend focused commercial, selling outlet. So it's raising money to then put back into development projects internationally, and they work with a lot of other people abroad who run projects with some of the poorest people in the world. And then they've got a lot of focus also on supporting things which are linked to the textile trade and the fashion industry and stuff like that. So a lot of the focus is really to try and have a positive impact on some of the negativity that's associated with fashion and textiles whilst they recycle clothes. And then they also send what they don't recycle through their shops, gets sent off to be recycled by another company who will sort it into lots more grades than most other recyclers, and it will become shredded or used for insulation or whatever they do with it. Some of it will go abroad, but as little as possible, I believe. And then this is like another tier to upcycle. So, you can downcycle, recycle and upcycle. I think actually in this country, I don't think people have really got that much of a problem with it, and maybe that's partly because I'm in my world where people do it without question. I know I've been in talks with huge high street retailers in the past about doing recycled projects with them and upcycling and things like that, and they always get a reaction from their customers that, oh, I don't like recycled things, it's dirty, or someone else has had it, or it's not new and then it's not special, or it's not nice enough. And often those people, if you show them something that's been recycled, they go, oh, I would have never known. And yes, it does have a stigma, but especially selling through here, I don't think people really mind, because these are the people that already come in here, and especially in this country, everyone's so happy to play the vintage card and put the price up of something that's just old. It's not vintage, it's like from the 90s. It's not that old, do you know what I mean? But if it's a desirable thing, people will want it and people will wear it. So I think in this country we're definitely quite pro second-hand clothes, really, to be honest. I think quite a lot of people who don't buy second-hand clothes don't necessarily have a problem with it, but they're also a bit too lazy to look, because they know that they could go in River Island and buy something like that's on trend that they want, and that's much easier, and it's so cheap. So our high street becoming so cheap is definitely keeping people out of charity shops, I think, to an extent, because you can go and buy things so easily from Primark or wherever. I went in Primark the other day for looking at something that someone told me to go and see, and the prices just staggered me. Like, you can buy, I don't know, bikinis for like £4 or something, or like children's trainers for £2.50. Like, I don't know how you could make a pair of shoes for £2.50. I just don't. I just don't think it's possible to do that and to have paid anybody properly. Like, it's not enough, is it? So that maybe if there's a problem with charity shops, I'd say it's more of the price competition, and then the time that people have to put into finding things. It's like, it is an effort rummaging through charity shops. People are starting to see the pace and the enormity of the fashion industry, and it really covers everything. Like, I went round the shops the other day, and I went in Topshop and I went in H&M, and you go just walk round and think, actually, I could buy anything. If I go out and say I want a floral trouser, I can find it. If I say I want a tie-dye thing, I can find that. If I want a crop top, if I want some sequin leggings, if I want a satchel, if I want a rucksack, if I want anything, like, everything's there. It's so kind of overwhelming, and none of it means anything. And it's quite soulless, and I think maybe people are starting to feel like actually what's nice about something is when it has integrity. And if it's yours and you've done something to it yourself, then you're getting a really good vibe out of that because you're using a skill of your own, which is a really satisfying thing to do and people love it. But then also you're left with something that no one else has and that has a story behind it and which is a lot more significant. And I spoke recently to the Open Wardrobe Collective people, and they have been doing lots of research asking people what their clothes mean to them. And so many people are like, oh, this is my mum's jumper, or this is what, you know, and this came from there. And they love that stuff a lot more than like something they just went and got in Primark and they're going to throw in the bin, you know. So it's this kind of weird combination in people's wardrobes, I think, of things that they really don't care about and then things that they really do care about and that they can't bear to see the back of, or they can't throw away even when it's, you know, really on its last legs. And that's the nice thing about sewing, isn't it? And being able to make things or change things or make them fit you properly. For me, the focus of this at the moment is how to make it commercial as possible, because it's not, there's such limitation and then at the same time such possibility all the time, but both are kind of conflicting, if you know what I mean. So you have to find a place where you can make a lot of something on cost and make it wearable. And to do all of that stuff, my focus has been commercial sort of angle, really, trying to like make it as commercial as possible. And we can't play the high street at their own game and beat them because we can't come anywhere near the prices because we're making it all here. But what we can do is make something which is fits with that, which is easy to buy and easy to wear, but then maybe if everyone's different and they've all been made out of a different printed fabric and it has a story, then that gives it sort of more of an interesting sort of reason to buy it. And people sort of seem to quite like that. So I think my focus is, rather than being, okay, this season's all about black or this is all about lace or whatever, it's more easygoing than that in terms of sort of working with what you've got. But my focus has been trying to make it very easy, wearable.